I want you to actually think about this one before you keep listening. What do you love doing before life got heavy? Not what you're good at, not what pays you, not what looks impressive on a resume or gets you likes online. What did you love doing? Purely because it made you feel alive. For some of you, an answer came immediately, and it's been a while since you actually did that thing. For others, you had to think, maybe too long. And that right there is worth paying attention to. Because somewhere along the way, life got serious. And you got serious with it. And the things that once made you feel free, you set them down. Just for a moment. Except a moment turned into months. And months turned into years. And now you're not even sure you remember who you were before all of this. Today, we're going back to find that person. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the thing. Nobody sits down one day and decides, I'm going to stop enjoying life. It's gradual, it's quiet, it's survival mode disguised as responsibility. You got busy, you got stressed, you had bills, deadlines, obligations, expectations from your job, your family, yourself. And the hobbies, the passions, the random things that brought you joy, those started to feel like luxuries, like things you get back to eventually. When things settled down, when you had more time, when life felt less like something you were managing and more like something you were actually living. But here's the truth, for a lot of people, that moment never came because the to-do list never ends. The demands never stop, and somewhere in the middle of all that surviving, you started to lose the thread of who you were outside of your responsibilities. The artist who stopped making art because it wasn't practical. The athletic who stopped moving their body because the gym became another obligation. The reader who hasn't finished a book in 2 years. The musician who opened their case last Tuesday just to look and then quietly closed it again. You know exactly who you are in this moment, and so do I. Here's a lie that keeps most people stuck, that going back is weakness. That if you pick up that paintbrush again, or lace up those old sneakers, or dust off that journal, you're somehow being childish, nostalgic, unproductive, that you should be focused on the future, not chasing some version of yourself that doesn't exist anymore. But here's what I know to be true. The things that made you feel alive before the world got loud, those weren't distractions. Those were data. They were signals from your core self telling you exactly what you're wired for, what lights you up, what makes you feel like you. Returning to those things isn't regression. It's not going backward. It's reclaiming parts of yourself you were convinced you had to leave behind in order to grow up. You didn't. You just believed you did. And that belief cost you a lot of joy. So I want to give you something today that the world probably hasn't given you enough of. Permission. Permission to pick it back up. Whatever it is. Not because it'll make you money. Not because it'll make you more productive. Not because there's a 10-step plan or monetization strategy attached to it. Just because it makes you feel like yourself again. Just because it brings you joy. Just because you deserve to do things sometimes that have no other purpose than making you feel alive. You are allowed to have hobbies that don't become side hustles. You are allowed to be bad at something and love it anyway. You are allowed to paint just to paint, run just to run, sing just to sing, even if no one ever hears it. Somewhere along the way, we got convinced that every action needs to justify itself. That time only has value if it's productive. That rest is earned. That joy needs a reason. That is exhausting and is slowly hollowing people out. That version of you that used to make music at midnight or write for hours just because the words needed to come out, or stay up late talking about ideas that had no practical application. That person wasn't naive. That person was alive in a way that maybe you haven't been for a while. So here's your challenge. This week, find one thing you used to love that you've put down, and pick it back up. Don't make it a project. Don't make it a goal. Don't optimize it. Just do it because it makes you feel like you. That's how you start fighting yourself again. Not through another grind, not through another goal, through joy, through play, through the parts of you that existed before the world started putting conditions on your happiness. Go back to what made you feel alive before the world convinced you to be serious all the time. Because that version of you, they didn't disappear. They've just been waiting for you to come home.